Every classroom has a loud student, a funny one, a confident one, and sometimes a quiet one. In Class 10B, that quiet student was a girl named Emma. Emma always sat in the third row near the window. She arrived early every morning, placed her bag carefully under her desk, and opened her notebook before anyone else came in. She never spoke unless the teacher asked her a question, and even then, her voice was soft and calm. Most students hardly noticed her. She didn't raise her hand, she didn't laugh loudly, she didn't join conversations during breaks. To many, Emma was invisible. But Emma noticed everything. She noticed how Sarah always talked first, even when she wasn't sure of the answer. She noticed how Jack made jokes to hide his fear of being wrong. She noticed how the teacher sighed when the class became too noisy. And she noticed how loneliness felt when no one asked, "How are you?" Emma wasn't always quiet. When she was younger, she loved to talk. She loved to tell stories, ask questions, and share her thoughts. But things changed when she moved to a new city 2 years ago. In her old school, she had friends who listened to her. In the new school, students already had their groups, their jokes, their memories. Emma tried to fit in at first. She smiled. She spoke. She tried to join conversations. But one day, during her first week, she made a small mistake while speaking in class. Some students laughed. It wasn't loud laughter, but it was enough to make her cheeks burn and her heart sink. From that day, Emma decided it was safer to stay quiet. Silence became her shield. At home, Emma was different. She wrote stories in her notebook every night. Long stories, sad stories, hopeful stories, stories where quiet people were brave and unnoticed girls became strong. Writing was her voice when speaking felt too hard. Her teacher, Mrs. Thompson, noticed Emma. Not because Emma was loud or disruptive, but because she was always paying attention. Her homework was perfect. Her essays were deep and thoughtful. Sometimes Mrs. Thompson felt that Emma understood things better than most students. One afternoon, Mrs. Thompson announced a class project. "You will work in pairs," she said, "and at the end of the month you will present your project in front of the class." Emma's heart started beating fast. A presentation, in front of everyone. The classroom filled with excitement and noise as students chose their partners. Emma stayed seated, pretending to read her book. She knew what would happen. No one would choose her. Just as she expected, pairs formed quickly. Friends laughed and talked. Emma sat alone, staring at the window, feeling that familiar tightness in her chest. Then Mrs. Thompson spoke again. "Emma," she said gently, "you will work with Lucas." Lucas looked surprised. He was a quiet student too, but in a different way. He wasn't shy, just thoughtful. He nodded and moved his desk next to Emma's. Their first meeting was awkward. They sat in silence for a few moments. Then Lucas smiled and said, "You're good at writing, right? I read your essay once." Emma looked up, surprised. You did?" she asked. "Yeah," Lucas replied. "It was really good." For the first time in a long while, Emma felt seen. They decided to do their project on the power of listening. Emma wrote most of the content, while Lucas helped organize the presentation. They met after school, shared ideas, and slowly, Emma began to feel comfortable speaking, at least with him. The day of the presentation arrived. Emma barely slept the night before. Her hands shook as she stood next to Lucas at the front of the class. The room felt too big, too loud, too bright. Lucas began speaking first. Then it was Emma's turn. She took a deep breath.
Her voice was quiet at first, but the room slowly became silent. Students leaned forward. Mrs. Thompson smiled. Emma spoke about quiet people, about listening, about voices that are not loud but still important. She spoke from her heart, and something amazing happened. No one laughed, no one interrupted, everyone listened. When she finished, the class was silent for a second. Then applause filled the room. Emma's eyes filled with tears. For the first time, her silence was not a weakness. It was her strength. After that day, things changed slowly. Not everything, not all at once. But people started saying hello to her. Some students asked for her help with homework. Mrs. Thompson encouraged her to share more. Emma was still quiet, But now she knew something important. You don't have to be loud to be heard. You don't have to speak all the time to matter. Sometimes, the quietest voices carry the deepest stories, and Emma was finally ready to let hers be heard.